Hi guys, it's Jolene. Sorry it's been a while. As you can see, I'm in a different location than last time, and that's because I've moved and things have been crazy. And since my kids are home for the summer, I haven't been able to film during the day, so I'm having to film at night. So please excuse the shadows and the funky lighting. I'll try to stay out of my own shadow as much as possible. But I wanted to give you an update on how things are going. Once again, I have a different notebook that I'm using. This is my Chic Sparrow B6 Creme in Creme Brulee. I love this notebook. This one doesn't have pockets. This is the only regular like planning TN that I have that does not have pockets, and it's such a thick leather that I didn't want to get the pockets on it, and I kind of love it, but I am having to compensate by moving stuff around, but that's fine. That doesn't bother me too much. I'm already getting some marks on here, and I love the personality of this and the bumpiness of it. Oh, I love it. It's my favorite. And I actually ended up selling all but one of my other TNs of this size, of the B6. Not because I don't love B6, I still love B6, but I'm trying not to have an overabundance of things. I'm trying to minimize. I've read the book, The Art of Tidying Up, or whatever it's called, with the KonMari method, and trying to live more simply. So I decided that I could use that money to pay on some debt, so I sold a bunch of my TNs, and I'm keeping just the ones that I love the most, and this would be one of those. So anyway, let's go ahead and see what I did for this month. A lot of this is still the same. These I had over here in pockets before, so I just moved them over here. I am thinking about making a dashboard to go in around the first insert to use to put stuff like this on, and I might put a few pockets in it to kind of allow it to make up for the lack of pockets here. We'll see how that all goes. I have been using the Annie Plans. This is the one that's designed for the stickers, the box stickers, for the other planners. And while I had fun decorating my planner for the first time ever with stickers, and I kind of went crazy buying stickers, which is easy to do for those of you that know. However, I really miss the planning, the this week box where you get to list off the things to do this week. So I don't really have, on one of my weeks I did that. I put a sticker here that kind of had a list on it, but I really liked having the this week spot. And I found that, I don't know, I'm not digging the stickers. They're pretty and I like them, and this is totally stupid and totally me, but I'm a very tactile person, and I don't like how it makes my pages different thicknesses and different spots. Like here it's thin because there's nothing here, but then there's a sticker here and there's stickers on each side there, so it's super thick. Like I said, totally stupid. I'm probably the only person who even notices something like that, but that's just me. So I have the July, August, and September of this. I'm gonna get through August and see. I've already started taking some notes as far as going back to a traditional bullet journal where I'm using just a dot grid insert like this and writing out my own days and weeks and everything. I've found that I do miss that method, and I'm gonna try to go back to that. I am gonna keep my monthlies like this because I like this better, and now that I'm in a TN instead of in a Lake Term, I can have a separate monthly insert that I can keep track of all that stuff on. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. That will solve that issue. And then the rest of my notes just talk about whether or not I want to have monthly color schemes so that I can easily differentiate between months when I'm flipping through. If I wanted to keep my monthly separate or integrated with my dailies, which I think I've already decided that I don't want to do. Journaling separate or integrated. I kind of liked, for a while I was journaling at the end of my day, and I was at the end of my dailies in my bullet journal, and I kind of liked that. I kind of didn't like it. I tried other things, like right now I have a whole separate insert for my journaling, but I kind of like having it at the end of my day, because then I can see what was happening on that day. Instead of having to have my journaling be like a recap of my day, it can just be like a brain dump or whatever I need to get off my chest or whatever is weighing on my heart that I need to talk about. But then I can look back right at the top of the page and see what was going on that day that maybe contributed to some of that, instead of having to think, okay, this entry is from April 4th. Now let's go back in here into April 4th and see what was going on that day. I kind of like the idea of having it all together. So still toying with that, not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. Any trackers that I do, where am I going to put those? I'd like to try some doodling. I'm not the best drawer in the world. As you can see, my handwriting still kind of sucks. So lots to think about, lots to plan and work out before I make the full switch. But I am still absolutely loving the B6 size. That is not going anywhere. That is my size for life, I think. The other thing I didn't like about having the printed out inserts is for some reason, I tend to go back in the past quite often and look at stuff that happened in the past. I have the worst memory, so I can never remember when things were done. I can never remember when I did something. So I constantly go back and look to see when something happened. And so I like to be able to flip back, and when I'm changing out, like this one's for 3 months, so it's not quite as bad, but the last one I had, what was the last one that I had? It was the week on 4 pages, I think. That one, because that one had the this week section on it, the to-do list section. That one was just 1 month, so I only ever had 1 month at a time in my planner, and I didn't really like that, because I actually have gone back several times and pulled out that old one and had to look at it to see when something happened. So I kind of like the idea of having the whole notebook in here that I use up as I need it, and I don't have any blank spaces. Like, you know, here I've got this, other than the stickers, it's pretty blank for the whole day. This stuff wouldn't have taken up very much room if I was using a bullet journal. And then there's days like this where there was a lot going on and I used up a lot of space, but there's not many of those, especially in the summer with my kids home. It's hard to plan stuff. They don't understand why I'm not spending all my time with them, so I try to do that, and I'll just have a messy house for the summer. They need my attention way more than the house does. So I'm trying to be a little bit less, like you can see in August here, I've already planned one, actually some of it's in July, 1 and 2 beach days for the next 2 weeks. 1 day each week to go to the beach and just hang out with my boys, because they need some mama time. This week, speaking of, I'm gonna just sidetrack for a moment because that's just how my brain works. My oldest son has been at camp this week, and I have had the best time with my littlest. He's 6, and just getting to know him again. I mean, obviously I know him, but his brother has a very overpowering personality. He's kind of overshadowed by his big brother. he has a lot of attention issues, and so it's hard to, and plus he loves his brother so much, he copies everything that he does. So it's hard to see his own little personality. So I got to see a lot of that this week, and it was so awesome. I've loved it. And as much as I'm looking forward to seeing my older son tomorrow when I go pick him up, I'm going to be sad that my time with my youngest is over. And then in a couple weeks, I have some one-on-one time with my oldest while my youngest goes to camp. So it's been really fun. People want to know why I don't send them to camp at the same time, and this is exactly why, because I need that one-on-one time with them just as much as they need it with me. So it's been a great week. So anyway, back to planning. What I've been doing here, I split the days in half, and up here were my appointments, and down here was my to-do stuff. And that worked out really well. However, another thing that I didn't like about these narrow columns is that it doesn't always fit on one line, and for some reason that annoys me. So, sometimes it looks okay, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It's mostly my handwriting, because I'm still messy and very inconsistent with my handwriting. But I like having the more space that I have. When I'm doing a bullet journal, I'll have all this space to write on, because this will be like Monday, and then I'll write down this stuff going on that day, and then I'll write down my to-do list, and I have all this space to go on. So it's a big step to go from a whole line to 2 inches. So it's been a struggle. I don't really care for it. I'm gonna have a hard time making it through August without switching back, but it's gonna give me enough time to plan out how I really want to do it, how I really want it to be going forward, to see how I want to change things up. I'm hoping that I can get this a little bit narrower. I mean, everything's sticking out of my, I wish there was a B6 wide, because, I mean, we're sticking out here. My pen is just way out in no man's land because it's hanging out there. And I really don't feel like I have all that much in here. I have my daily, my regular planning insert, and then I have my monthly for future planning and my meal planner, which I am using, by the way. I'll show you that in a second, and I love it. I have my journal, which is this one, and then I have my brain dump, which I guess that one really could come out, but I like having it there. That's just for like random notes, things that don't fit anywhere else. I put them in there. This is my list notebook. I separated that out from collections because my collections was filling up really fast. So I put in a second one for to-do lists, things that aren't necessarily like due today, that don't belong on my dailies. It's more like when I get settled after my move, what needs to get done. A wish list, my goals for 2017. This is like an overall high-level to-do list. I have a specific wish list just from Goulet pens. And then this, when I moved, this is how I planned out my move and where things were gonna go. Future camping spots, things like that. And then a folder. And then my collections. And I just have to show this off for a second because I'm pretty proud of how this came out. The last video I had, this cover was blank. And I swore that I was gonna paint on it, and I did, and I love the way that it came out. I used a stencil for this, the pink, this yellowy orange, and this turquoise. And then I did some doodling from, the heck is the name of the book? Dang it. I'll have to link it. It's that new book about doodling flowers. Anyway, I'll link it. I can't believe I can't think of the name of it. It's all I've been looking at lately. Anyway, I just had a lot of fun. Oh, there's another stencil right there, that darker, oh my gosh, my brain has shut down. And it's only 11 o'clock at night. Well, I guess that's about right. Anyway, that's a stencil too. And this, but I just had a lot of fun putting it together. I was really happy with the way it came out. And it's so nice to turn to it and see a completed cover instead of just white. That white was screaming at me. And it's funny how things have evolved over time, because there was a point in my life where I would have seen that white and been like, it's beautiful, it's pristine, I can't touch it, anything I do to it will wreck it, I can't mar it with paint or drawings because I can't draw good, it's gotta be perfect. And now I'm like, I don't care, let's get that white out of here, the white's too glaring. And then I take more chances now, and I don't know what has changed in me that has caused me to be able to do that, but I'm happy that I can now. Because I used to buy notebooks and planners and they would just sit there, because I'd have this beautiful blank paper and I'd be like, ooh, nobody touch it, it's perfect. But I mean, that's just completely ridiculous, because the whole point of having it is to fill it up and write on it, get your heart and your mind out on paper. So I'm glad I got past that. And by the way, fun fact, in the Facebook groups that I'm in, when people talk about how many active TNs they have at any one time, I joke that I have about 10. Well, I actually did the math last night, because in here, one of my lists is actually the lists of TNs that I have. Let's see if I can find it. That's going to be in here. And I was a little shocked. So here's the list of traveler's notebooks that I have, or had. The ones with X's I've sold. So the ones without X's are all of the ones that I have active. So let's just see, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 23 active traveler's notebooks. What? Wow. I think that's going to be a whole nother video, just going through what I use them all for. I mean, I know I said I was going to do a separate video for each one, but some of them don't really require a whole video. So maybe I'll do like 2 or 3 at a time. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So that's where we are for this month. As you can see, most of my stuff on here is gone. I went camping with my kids last week, and most of them ended up, when I switched into this cover, most of them ended up in my drawer because they kind of fell off, and I said, well, it's probably safer for them to be here while we're camping anyway. And I just never put them back in. I don't miss them. I may just leave them off. I may end up taking these off, but the plainer, the simpler, the better I find. I do love using these Planner Society papers as my insert covers. I'm about ready to change them up again. I've had these in here for a while because this was like my favorite all-time kit so far. Because I mean, that print, come on. So I'm about ready to change them out again, and like I said, I left them so that they're not attached, so I can just slide them out when I want to change them. Oh, and I was going to talk about this. This is the Annie Plans meal planner, and don't look at, this is not how she formatted it. She formats everything perfectly. I printed it wrong. I did not do actual size when I printed it. So here's 2 different weeks. I planned out what we were gonna have, put my ingredients down, and now I feel kind of bad because I have an app on my phone that is wonderful for meal planning. However, sometimes it's a little bit tedious for meal planning. I love having all my recipes in there, but for meal planning, it's a little bit tedious. This was so easy. And then when I went to the grocery store, I took a picture of the grocery list. And then while I was getting the items, I just, you know, went to edit the photo and I crossed them off with my finger while I was shopping. And it was so easy. And then I could still see the whole list at once to see, I don't know, you know, I could just, it was nice to see what I had gotten, what I had left, and it has worked really well so far. I really like it. I definitely will continue to use this. And I don't necessarily fix the things on the days that are indicated. I'll switch them. I usually talk to my kids. I like to include my kids in the meal planning because it gives them some control over their lives, and they both need that. So we do it like as a group effort, and so I'll just write down the ideas that come to anyone's minds, and then in my planner I go through and I write down what we're gonna have that night, like I did it on stickers on this one. Sorry, I said I was gonna try to stay out of my own shadow, and I have not done very well. So that's been working out really well. So that is gonna stay, this insert, because I really, really like it. I did have that other insert in here before that was all just tracking what you eat and exercise and stuff. I ain't been bothered with that one recently because I haven't been very good. Anyway, it's printed out. I saved it for later. We'll see what happens. This is the Nanny Plans, the monthly. I printed this one on Tomoe River paper. I probably won't do that again just because it's gotta last for a whole year. And if I wanted to decorate it at all or anything, it would probably get pretty roughed up. Plus, every time I switch books, the elastic crumples it because there's not many pages to it. So I probably wouldn't use Tomoe River paper again for that. Let's see. Anything else different? I think that's it. All right. So, oh, and here's my little hourly one that I had this is the Growing Up Goddess insert. I haven't used this one that much because, again, with the kids being out of school, it's hard. But it's in here for when I need it. All right, that's all for now. I will be back again next month. Well, maybe not next month, because next month is going to be the same. I'm going to stick with this insert to try to get it used up. And then probably starting in September, I will switch back to my bullet journal style and this type of an insert, which will be nice because then the kids will be back to school and it'll be a good time to transition. So that's that. I hope everyone has a good night and a good weekend, and I look forward to hearing what you think. Bye.